What's the first thing women notice? Your face. That's why you got to take care of. Simple things like getting a haircut, grooming your face, and brushing your teeth is important. But there's one thing guys miss and that women always notice. It's when a guy isn't taking care of his skin. That's why I'm so excited to have T. Shanley as a sponsor of today's video. T. Shanley simplifies the process of taking care of your skin. They provide you with all the products you need and nothing you don't. Seriously, I don't think some of you believe me when I tell you how much implementing a quality skincare routine will improve your confidence in all aspects of your life. I recommend you start with the level 1 system, which comes with all the basics: daily face wash, exfoliating scrub, an AM moisturizer with an SPF 20 and a PM moisturizer. But and to make it dead simple for you guys, they provide an instruction card in every box that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. But because T just sponsoring this video, they're offering you an amazing deal. Just click the first link in the description and get 40% off your first skincare system and free gift. Plus, as a member, you'll get 20% off for life. By the way, one of their new gift options is a silicone body scrubber, which is a $20 value and a complete game changer. Once you use this, you'll never go back to a regular loofah ever again. So don't wait any longer. Click the first link in the description to start your skincare journey. When Kamala did announce, Trump said a couple things. This is the most radical left duo in American history. There has never been anything like it, and there never will be again. Crazy. Kamala is indeed crazy. I hear there's a big movement to bring back Crooked Joe. He also had this to say: statement of Kamala's selection of radical leftist Tim Walz. No surprise that San Francisco liberal Kamala Harris wants West Coast wannabe Tim Walz as a running mate. Walz has spent his governmentship trying to reshape Minnesota in the image of the Golden State. While Walz pretends to support Americans in the heartland, when the cameras are off, he believes the rural America is mostly cows and rocks. From opposing his own carbon-free agenda to suggesting stricter emission standards for gas-powered cars and embracing policies to allow convicted felons to vote, Walz is obsessed with spreading California's dangerously liberal agenda far and wide. If Walz won't tell voters the truth, we will. Just like Kamala Harris, Tim Walz is a dangerous liberal extremist, and the Harris-Walz California dream is every American's nightmare.
So wait. They're against felons being able to vote, but not run the country? I'm just saying, right? Like, that's the hypocrisy, I swear.
I mean, there's a few states, to my knowledge, that allow for felons to vote. So I'm kind of confused on why he would even make that a point in that statement.
You guys can go ahead. I'm just working on this video, so y'all can just go ahead and have a conversation for a second.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really, like I said, I don't have a dog in the fight. I feel like either way, it's so much wrong on both sides, man. It kind of just puts me in a place of a disdain. I'm looking at each side, and it's just checking off things that I just really can't stand about either. So it's just, I don't even know if Donald Trump even read that statement. You know, that was from his secretary. He probably didn't even know it was being put out.
So that's possible.
I say,
can you put it back up real quick, or put it back up?
No, he working on it. So I'll say this: I have great disdain for both candidates at this point, to be honest with you. However, there are some serious policies, like they are both on the extremes, right? So at some point we have to think like, all right, we're gonna have to pick a side because it's gonna be a big change, and it's just about what do you care more about, right? What's gonna affect your family more? So you're gonna be. It depends. You might be screwed on one end with this candidate, but the other one's gonna do you worse. So it's just about making a decision for you and your family at this point. I think the worst thing that we could possibly do is sit out. I'm trying to urge people as much as possible: do not take away your own voice. just do something. I don't even care if you say, "Listen, I'm going to vote independent this time," whatever. But just have a voice. Put something down. You got to stand for something, because we need to show them that we exist and that we are part of it, and our input is valid. Don't invalidate yourself.
So Trev,
Yeah.
I've been looking at this shit all day or whatever, right? And I told you what my main issue is: guns. I don't want any. I want to be able to get guns that I want to get with
no restrictions. With no restrictions.
Get any gun I want to get. Immigration.
Kamala's killing that.
Right. Immigration. Right. Because I told you about the people that just planted in Chicago, so they displacing my community.
You here too?
Oh, I heard. Yeah, Chicago. Yeah.
I heard the Venezuelans. I heard the Venezuelans out there going crazy.
Yeah, they just created their own Venezuelan day and start driving through the niggas in the hood is mad about that shit.
What?
Yeah.
If you go anywhere in the hood, I went in the gas station the other day. I was like, so who you? Nigga said Trump, loud as hell. I said, damn. Like the gas station started laughing, like, yeah, he gonna get their ass up out of here. I'm in the gas station, and it's a different bop that we got versus other people got, right? I see 3 people with masks on that don't have the same bop as us. It's a different type of bop, but I could tell via the mask that it wasn't us. In a steamer, stolen car, putting gas in the stolen car. I said, hell no, this shit crazy. What is this?
What?
This shit crazy as hell. They ass gotta go.
They got to look at third world out there right now in the hood.
Well, so I wouldn't say third world, but they had about a caravan of like 60 cars with the Venezuelan flags flying, hitting blocks, trailing each other. Motherfuckers looking.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, this is y'all on. Y'all ass got to get the fuck up out of here. This ain't that.
It sound like you ready to cast your vote.
I find it interesting that they so heavily flying the flag of a country that they ran from.
That shit crazy, bro.
That shit crazy.
Well, I say this, right? You know how, like, when even a lot of us, we may move out of the hood, but it's still our heritage. We are happy for what we got out of where we were, right? Like, so I moved away. I grew up in Newark, New Jersey. I'm always gonna scream Newark, New Jersey, but I damn sure left because I didn't want to have to shoot people, unfortunately, because it's one of them things where I know I like to have fly cars, which is another reason why I'm absolutely going right this time. My last name car, I don't care. Listen, I'm all over it. I'm in the cars, and I am not about to drive an electric ever in my life, and I don't want to be forced to. That is an issue that's damn near enough for me to cast my vote by itself, and then me being able to defend my family against whatever, because we don't know what's going on. Like you say, in that situation, once resources run low, you already know what's next. People start coming for the cribs, and I've already seen it happen to some neighborhoods, and I'm gonna be ready, and I don't want anybody to tell me that I can't be at any point ever.
And
that's the
Trev,
problem.
What would you say my stance on reparations is?
You for it for sure, but I can tell you this:
like hard politician. Hold on, let me just tell you this one last thing. So I've been on Twitter all day, right? And if you came to the country and you don't understand the full history of everything that's happened, it just seems like it sounds like you complaining to people that come from wherever they came from, and then be like, that ain't got nothing to do with me. You just need to do XYZ. So it's a previous debt that's owed that we trying to make sure it gets situated for my people, and you telling us that ain't got nothing to do with you, and you're gonna be part of the voting block. Man, get the fuck up out of here. Get the fuck up out of here. Get the fuck up out of here.
Hey, did y'all happen to see that? It's a meme. I don't know. I guess you call it a meme, but it's a post going around where a young lady was saying how the lady in front of us left her receipt at the ATM. Yeah. So
I seen 2 of them. 16, like close to 19,000, and another one close to 9,000. Yeah, man.
Bro, listen. The cash balance was like 4,400, and the food stamp balance was like close to 14,000. Listen, that's crazy, bro. You know what I mean? And that's insane right now. When you know that I work hard, right? You know what I'm saying? I got a wife and 4 kids, bro. You know how much money it is spending it on food these days? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and then when you see them freely just
Legit.
letting people in constantly and then giving them resources that they taking directly from us. I'm out west too.
And they
You know
never
what I'm
paid
saying?
taxes. They never paid
They've
into
never
it, and we've
paid
been paying into it
anything.
forever. I watch.
Anything. Oh, then you see now, here goes with Kamala's her running mate, right? He's the same dude that signed a bill in Minnesota to give all of these undocumented immigrants a driver's license. Bro, they'll take our driver's license at the drop of a hat.
Yeah.
But y'all giving them out for free to people that don't even have anything, that hasn't given anything to this country. I mean, like, bro, listen. I just got issues with it.
Hey, speaking of the running mate, I'm gonna go ahead and play that video. Hopefully that's what
Sure.
happening.
Donald Trump sees the world a little differently than us. First of all, he doesn't know the first thing about service. He doesn't have time for it because he's too busy serving himself. Again and again and again, Trump weakens our economy to strengthen his own hand. He mocks our laws, he sows chaos and division, and that's to say nothing of his record as president. He froze in the face of the COVID crisis. He drove our economy into the ground, and make no mistake, violent crime was up under Donald Trump. That's not even counting the crimes he committed.
I ain't gonna lie, that was pretty funny.
You know,
That was a bar.
some of us, some of us in here are old enough to remember. I see you down there. I see those old white guys. Some of us are old enough to remember when it was Republicans who were talking about freedom. It turns out now what they meant was the government should be free to invade your doctor's office. In Minnesota, we respect our neighbors and their personal choices that they make. Even if we wouldn't make the same choice for ourselves, there's a golden rule. Mind your own damn business. These guys are after my heart chanting, mind your own damn business. That feels good, so thank you. Look, that includes IVF, and this gets personal for me and my family. When my wife and I decided to have children, we spent years going through infertility treatments. And I remember praying every night for a call for good news. The pit in my stomach when the phone rang, and the agony when we heard that the treatments hadn't worked. So it wasn't by chance that when we welcomed our daughter into the world, we named her Hope. When Vice President and I talk about freedom, we mean the freedom to make your own healthcare decisions. And for our children to be free to go to school without worrying they'll be shot dead in their classrooms. By the way, as you heard, I was one of the best shots in Congress, but in Minnesota, we believe in the Second Amendment, but we also believe in common sense gun violence laws. Vice President Harris' idea of freedom is a ticket for education to be that ticket to the middle class, not crippling debt. Air that's clean, water that's pure, communities that are safe. A place where we settle our political differences not through violence, but with our votes. And that's what this election's about. What direction will this country go in? He's not going back. Well, Donald Trump would damn sure take us backwards. Let's be clear about that.
Good speech.
You know what? I don't understand. I thought we learned with Sarah Palin that vice presidents don't win elections. It is what it is. Y'all could do that all you want, but it's just not gonna win. I heard him say some things like, your healthcare rights, but these were the same cats who made you. It was a mandate, wasn't it? A mandate that you would literally lose your livelihood, depending on what profession you are, which they try to make it most, if you did not take an experimental such and such. It was a mandate. I didn't feel like I had a right at that point when they are trying to force you to take something that they have no data on. That's not healthcare rights to me. That sounds very different than that. I'm very curious to what he means when he says common sense gun laws. What does that even mean? What does that even mean? These dudes don't have any common sense when it comes to gun laws because they couldn't tell you what a gun is. Most of these fools, if you ask them what AR-15 means, they're going to say, oh, it stands for assault rifle. No, dude, it's Armalite before Colt bought it. These dudes don't know anything. They couldn't tell you the velocity. They couldn't tell you what is chambered in. Or there's nothing they can tell you. These dudes don't even know anything about weapons to be writing gun laws, and that's the problem, that they don't consult with experts before they make stupid laws that are affecting everyone. That's a big problem. Most of these fools don't know about energy. They don't know how to tell you that there's companies working on hydrogen ice, and the hydrogen would be the best because it's the most abundant element on the planet. And there is no real research and development. Companies are having to do it independently because the government won't fund it. And you talking about batteries? Why would you do batteries when you talking about China? China has a stranglehold on lithium-ion batteries, and slave labor in Africa is how they're made. What we doing? What we doing? Like
they don't want to. They don't want to.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say they don't want to go into the hydrogen because they don't know how to have a stranglehold on that. They can't really, you know what I mean? You can just, that's readily available. It's an abundance. Whereas right now, I work in the industrial industry, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're not wanting people to change over to electric because obviously our infrastructure is set up for what? Industry, gas, oil, and so on, right? If they take that away, that's a whole lot of people losing their business and losing their eons of prosperity. So now electric, let's say if they want to buy into electric, that's still something that they can readily control. Now if we go with the hydrogen, they can't do that. That's why they want to keep it out. Wasn't it a brother that they actually that mysteriously died, that had learned, he had configured his car to run off of hydrogen, off of water?
And what happens, that's pretty much onboard electrolysis. So that's different. Whereas you don't even need a plant to produce it. So when you start coming up with great ideas like that, they shelf it. They buy it out or, delete you, and the idea is gone. That's just what happens. And that's not a conspiracy theory, because there's too many cases where you saw people come up with awesome plans for energy and then they disappear with the idea. Because it's too much money. You shortstopping their bread is pretty much what it all boils down to. When you understand how these politicians get where they got, they're all backed by somebody with big dough. That's all it is. And you just got to pick which side you mess with. But they all doing the same damn thing.
So, this is some of the common sense gun laws that they are proposing. to require firearm dealers to fulfill minimum security standards, require the ATF to inspect dealers every 3 years and provide for more staffing to the ATF, to prohibit the possession of any firearm that is undetectable by airport level detection devices, to limit ammunition magazines to no more than 10 rounds and prohibit their future production for civilian use, to require background checks on every gun sale or transfer, to require a 3-day waiting period before a person may receive a gun after making a purchase, to allow for the injury or death of a minor resulting from unsafe storage of a firearm to be made a crime and punishable with prison time, to ban the sale, transfer, manufacture, and importation of military-style assault weapons and high-capacity ammunition magazines, to build safer, thriving communities and save lives by investing in effective community-based violence reduction initiatives, to direct consumer product safety commissions to establish firearm storage safety standards, to encourage states to enact extreme risk laws to support law enforcement and protect families, to ensure dangerous individuals are prohibited from purchasing or owning firearms, to authorize the Center for Disease Control and Prevention to conduct critical life-saving gun violence research, to establish basic business practices and certification requirements for gun shop owners and employees, to establish an interagency advisor council that would gather and distribute resources for victims of gun violence.
Where did you get that information from?
Basically, it was from Joseph Morrell, U.S. Congressman, and he had listed some of the common sense gun laws that they're trying to sponsor.
You know what's crazy? Everything that you just listed is already in place.
Yeah,
I know it is.
In
Here.
California, especially. And they can't have high capacity magazines. So Sweeney, this is the issue with like Shannon said, everything that was listed is pretty much already in place that make common sense gun laws. But they did a ban on what a brace. They just banned braces, and then they just
pistol braces were banned.
The brace literally did nothing to make the gun do anything but shoot more accurately. What they look at as gun laws is really things that make a gun look scary. It has nothing to really do with how effective the gun is. Bump stocks. What would you say?
I take it that y'all are not against any of the things that I just listed.
No, I'm against the.
I'm against the bureaucracies. You talking about the CDC? Because they include things when they talk about mass shootings and they talk about children dying, they go up to the age of 20, which is misleading. When you talk about the ATF, who constantly changes rules and tries to re-articulate what assault rifles and everything means, it's extremely problematic when you start to involve the bureaucracies.
Well, I don't think there's any problem with people committing studies to find out what's. I mean, I would say that we should argue that the study should be more comprehensive. So if you have a problem with like, okay, this doesn't sound like the right people in the room to conduct that study, that's fair criticism. But to say that there shouldn't be a study is, I wouldn't necessarily.
Well,
agree
it shouldn't be by a bureaucracy has appointees from a leftist agenda. That's the problem that I'm having with that. And you know what I'm saying? They appoint people that are. That's how it goes. That's what they've been doing. That's what
how you don't say that about the CDC. It's the Center for Disease Control.
Oh, what he's talking about is
that during the laughing, Sweeney, but you're not understanding.
Their influence.
We can explain it to you.
Like they
are.
Wasn't the CDC one of the didn't they back the vaccine?
Yeah, but I'm not finding. What's the problem with that?
He talking about his political appointments. So if you have
it's influence,
who would y'all say should conduct the study? Because I still like. Do y'all disagree that there should be studies conducted regarding gun violence and how to prevent that?
So the thing is that there are studies on it. So I don't think that's not the issue. The issue, in my opinion, is that they make it difficult for law-abiding citizens to go about to protect themselves. And they create all of these laws for people, essentially for criminals that don't follow the law. So
which one of those laws make it difficult for you to buy a gun?
So in Illinois, I want to say Illinois is one of maybe 3 or 4 states that that you have to have a FOI card in order to even purchase a firearm, and then you also have to be licensed to carry it.
Yeah.
Now,
So you said what kind of card?
It's called the FOI card.
Firearm owner's identification.
Operation. Right.
What's wrong with that?
So, in my opinion, I think that makes it more difficult for law-abiding citizens to be able to protect themselves. Once I was able to, once I got my record expunged and sealed, it took a year for them to send me my FOI card.
Why would that be a problem?
I can tell you what
life was in danger for that.
Look, so I can tell you
what. Hold on, wait. But y'all have to understand, he was a convicted felon at one point.
Let me finish. So there's a story that you can look up. There was a young lady that had broke up
in New Jersey.
There was a young lady that broke up with a guy, and this guy told her, "I'm gonna unalive you." She went to the police, got a restraining order against them, and she went and applied for a gun card,
purchase ID card for New Jersey.
Right. The guy ended up unaliving her while she's waiting for the approval on it. So it puts people that actually need it in a position to where they can't defend themselves against a person that's not going and abiding by the law.
Wait, so are you suggesting, because everything takes time. Hell, it even takes you time to get your driver's license. It took me time to get my barber's license. So are we suggesting that because somebody just so happened to die within the period of time that was required to wait for a firearms card, that we should do like that? Law doesn't prevent you from getting a license to carry.
She would likely have been alive because he used a knife.
Would you go to a barber that doesn't have a license?
She would have gotten a pistol.
Would you go to a barber that doesn't have a license?
People go to bars without a license all the time.
And it's high risk every single time you do it. That's why they require 1,500 hours. 1,500 hours. It requires you to take a test at the end. It requires experience. There's all types of laws that's required of me to even own a shop.
So the dude that I used to get my hair cut from all the time, he just came home. He ain't had no license. A lot of people when they first come home, they be cutting hair to survive, and them linings be crispy, and it don't be no $60, $100 either. They charge you what they charge.
Yeah, they charge because they can't.
Now exceptions to the rule. Those are exceptions to the rule.
But that barbers that don't
happen with the girl are exceptions to the rule.
Thank you.
So let me ask you this: you get into it with somebody,
that's pointed out,
you got to say, wait a year. If you're trying to kill me, you got to wait a year, fam. Just wait a year. So as soon as I get my license, then I can defend myself. Man, get the fuck out of here.
So why don't you have your license already?
Maybe you didn't think you needed it. Maybe it wasn't.
Whoa, now you don't think so. The responsibility is on the government because you got into some shit before you got a license.
Well, so Sweeney, let's be 100 about this. In the Black community, owning a firearm, in my opinion, has always been shunned upon. I was always taught, stay away from guns, don't touch guns, bad people have guns, things of this nature. We see Black people in movies with poor they have poor skills as far as with handling firearms. You know, you shoot the gun sideways like this, you walk around with no holster, you just throw it in your pants. So we have been taught to have all of these very extremely poor firearm discipline tactics as to where we've demonized it. So even for me, in my opinion, for me, one of the reasons why I did not get my firearm, my FOI card early on. Well, I actually applied for it. And when I caught the case, that's when I got caught.
Come on, dog.
Yeah.
Hey, do what you got to do, man. Do what you got to do.
That's when he needed it most, probably, Sweetie.
Come on now, man.
But I'm just keeping it a buck. I'm just keeping it a buck.
You can't apply for it after you commit the crime and be like, man, y'all holding me back from getting my shit.
Well,
Sweetie, his crime was just having the gun, bro.
Right,
he needed the gun.
My crime was simply having it. Like,
why didn't you get so you had the gun?
Because I had to wait. Because I had to wait months for them to approve it.
So before you committed any crime,
the crime was the gun.
No, I get it. Oh, I get that. I get that. So you mean to tell me you couldn't wait a few months to get your gun before carrying a gun?
I mean, in the situation in the area that I was living in, that was.
Man, you sound like I ain't gonna lie to you, Vince. I'm gonna be real with you. You sound just like my client when I kept telling his ass, stop smoking in your car. And he kept smoking in his car, even though he was on papers. He kept smoking in his. Oh no, wait. Let me finish. Yeah, he kept smoking in his car. I kept telling him, I said, bro, you on papers, and I also know what you do for a living. Stop doing it. You want to know what happened? He got pulled over for what was it? I think it might have been a busted tail light or some shit. Whatever it was. Cop walked up on him, smelled the weed on him because he was smoking in his car. Found a pound of weed in the bag, and he violated, and his probation officer violated.
Come on now,
real quick, man.
He's riding around.
You guys are going back and forth.
You riding around with a gun with no gun license.
Sweeney.
Riding around with a pound of weed in the car, and he's smoking. Like, come on, bro. That's a completely different scenario.
The point is personal accountability.
Listen,
I never said that.
You guys are going back and forth. It's not a conversation at this point. It's not a conversation. It's not. We're not doing the viewers any service at this point.
All right, hold on, y'all. Let's get Kenny P in there. I know he had his finger. Go ahead, Kenny.
It's like you got on your soapbox again, defending a certain thing, but you was riding dirty, which makes your whole argument fall flat. Then you're like pointing out cause and effect. Okay, so nice blazer, just Tubbs. Chill out. So here's the thing about what we doing here.
That is a nice blazer.
Yes, hell yeah, that jacket is kind of cold. With the way that lapel is sitting, that shit is kind of cold.
Yo, so my homie in Chicago, Joe J, custom made.
Mighty Dapper, man. Mighty Dapper.
Gotta be custom made now. Now you gotta hype it up in front of us.
I mean, it is. Hey, I'm gonna call it like it is. That's why I got it custom made.
You got it.
Hey, you my boy, bro. You my boy.
The best dressed on the panel tonight.
Oh man.
Okay, so
thank you.
You're pointing out a lot of things that you're welcome. That are exceptions to the rule. Guns should be demonized. That a lot of cats that I grew up with, because they didn't have the skills to reason something out, they went to that first, rather than learning the skills. That could be life-threatening.
Kenny, you breaking up, bro?
You got.
Yeah, we can't hear you. But let me ask you this, Kenny: if they kill somebody, did that other person have a gun? And if they did not, then that's what we're talking about.
If you first, you want to verify if you can hear me first. Can you hear me?
Yeah. You got to reset your Obama phone, bro.
All right, so.
You know, I kind of want to, you know what I'm saying, why he getting that. My bad. Why he getting that together? I kind of want.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We'll go ahead and keep talking, and if you start messing back up, we'll let you know. You can just go ahead and reset.
Okay, check 1 2. Check 1 2. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, but when you started off talking the last time, you kind of. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. You're crystal clear.
Okay, all right.
You sound like he's on the delay too.
Wait.
Kenny, we can make out what you're saying right now. So
go,
just
Kenny. All right, Kenny, go now. You got a solid connection. Go.
Okay, so all those things are exceptions to the rule. Guns are demonic. If you look at it some way, where I grew up was an urban area, rough, South Bronx, crack era. There's a lot of cats that had toast, but guess what? They had those because they didn't care to reason out their problems. That was the first thing they went to rather than try to have a conflict resolution. Marcus could throw that what he want because I know he's cut from a certain cloth. That does not make it right. You lack conflict resolution skills if that's the first thing you go to. Then you guys make excuses for having it. A woman that had a predator that killed her. That's an exception to the rule, despite God bless that sister who's no longer here. That's the exception to the rule. Most
That's
guys ain't doing that.
that's your
Most crimes
God-given
that you
right
hear
to
committed
protect
could have
yourself.
been it's your God given right to what? Bear
To protect
arms?
yourself.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. Okay. The first step is learning how to communicate effectively so that you can get out of something. That's why they made a word called de-escalate.
Right. But Kenny, so
When we
now
grow up
your
in
your
that
your
type
argument
of
is being based off of emotions though. We're talking about the actual
is
truth.
that emotion or fact?
No, that's
Wait, wait,
emotion.
wait. Is that
So the
emotion or
people
fact?
the people
Really?
that you yeah, so just how you said that, and I grew up in the hood too, so it is there's no difference. So those situations that do happen, those are happening due to people, one, being overly emotional, and two, due to the fact that we have demonized this tool essentially. So of course they're going to use that as a first resort, you know what I'm saying, to solve an issue. Now the thing is that in many cases those people that do that, they're irrational people and they're people that break the law. Right now we're talking about law abiding citizens that don't go out and pick fights knowing that they have a firearm on them. When you carry a firearm, in my opinion, it should be treated the same as someone that practices martial arts. I know that I can hurt you, but I'm going to de-escalate it due to the fact of what it is that I know. Me escalating this situation is not worth where it would go due to what I know would happen, what the outcome would be. So if we shared that message amongst black men and black women in the community, much rather than demonizing this tool to where now it's being abused. The problem that we see in the black community is that the gun violence is as high as it is because it's being abused much rather than there being knowledge given to the people that are mishandling it. So if that is how we combat it, much rather than making it
That
difficult
is
for that is how we combat it, much rather
Avis.
than making it difficult for people, for good people that live in the ghetto that don't have the money to make it out of the projects in order to defend themselves against predators that are in those same environments. So that's my
Really?
absolutely. And if you think otherwise, then you're okay
Okay,
with being
so
a victim. And if that's what you're into, then by all means,
he did
that's your
he's
God-given
doing the
choice as well.
same thing he did last week. Group on with me. Group on with me. Just like the same thing he did with Kai Sinat's cameraman. If I
Come on,
feel
man.
that way,
Don't,
I'm
don't
for
bring
pedophiles. If I feel different than you, that you don't need guns, that's why you have certain things called authorities. That's why you have authorities, police. If those same people that did the I'm not snitching rather than have community service come in there like they do in certain areas of Brooklyn and Bronx now because the crime got to a point where they have to be able to touch the leaders and mitigate within inside these boroughs so that we can touch that we don't have that okay the police are here nobody talks that nonsense. That's how you handle that. You do
eligibility
not get young
rules
guys
for a
with sagging
firearms
jeans.
owner. Eligibility.
So hold on,
rules.
let me just say this. Let me just
I
say
guess,
this. Most of the people that I know that got killed, most of the people that I know that
guess
got
I
killed,
can't
Wait,
finish
wait,
the
wait.
sentence.
Why do y'all? He was in the middle of a sentence. Why y'all just step on him?
he cut
Like
out.
that?
He cut out.
He was in the
He cut
middle
out.
of a sentence.
He
Right
cut
in the
out.
middle.
But you guys got to also understand too that he has a delay. So like once he get finished, I put it in the back chat for him to go back out and come back in. So he got a delay. So let's make sure we let him finish, y'all. Go ahead, Kenny. Kenny,
Well,
are you
no,
still-
so Kenny, that last part that you were saying, I didn't hear what you said exactly. You were saying that they were going throughout the different barrels and doing what?
That looked like a that looked like a mug shot.
So you don't want us to talk now, right?
No, he's frozen.
That's
Yeah,
what I was
No,
saying.
he froze.
So I know I missed a little bit, man. I just wanted to say, like, my thing is when we were talking about the brother that was in a situation where he was smoking weed and had a pound in the trunk. I think that's very different than personal protection.
That's
You know what I
complete.
mean? Like it's especially when you're in a city where honestly you want to be able to protect yourself. There isn't a time to come up with your conflict resolution skills when somebody run up on you trying to take what you got. You dig what I'm saying? There really isn't time for that. It's not like we are individuals going out here getting into fist fights in the middle of the street and this, that, and the other. We are. Look, I'm a like I said, I'm a father of four with a wife. You know what I'm saying? I do all right for myself. I want to make sure I come home to mine. You dig what I'm saying? That's my whole thing. And a couple of laws.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep it
Can you
real.
hear me?
A couple, yes, sir. A couple laws here and there is not going to dictate whether I go home to my kids or not. It's a saying that I say all the time. I'm gonna keep it real. I'd rather be caught with it than without. And in those cities where these laws are against mainly people like us from being able to protect themselves, I'm gonna put myself in a situation to make sure I'm straight. Because if you grew up in the South, anywhere in the South, these are not issues. Only in the heavily populated black cities where there's a heavy minority population, that's when they want to do gun regulation. Anywhere in the South, I lived in Arkansas for 4 or 5 years, right? All you needed was your driver's license to go and purchase a firearm. They didn't give a damn about nothing else. You know what I'm saying? You got white dudes taking their families, their children to the gun range and buying them 22 long rifle shotguns and this, that, and the other. We can't have guns because they deem us to be uncivilized and we can't handle it. And like he was saying, turning the gun sideways and all this ignorance. That's not what it should be about. The thing is, they're trying to police us from being able to protect ourselves against them. That's how I look at it. So being irresponsible and smoking weed in the car when you know they're gonna be looking for that and you got a pound in the trunk, especially in a state where it's probably illegal. You know what I mean? You putting yourself in that situation. That's not for a personal protection. That's just because you want to do the shit.
Well, the reason why I brought that up.
Hold on, y'all. Let's let Kenny finish right quick because I know he came back in. Kenny, you there?
Yeah, you can hear me clearly.
Yeah, we can hear you clearly. Let's let Kenny finish.
All
Let's
right.
try to wrap this up within the next 5 minutes, man. I don't want to spend all
Yeah,
night.
I'm gonna say this. Listen, to each his own. You got a constitution that pretty much says that you have the right to bear arms. If you're trying to make a solid case for, I'd rather have it on me, rather not. Depends on who you is. But I know most people don't know how to use guns. Most people ain't trained to use guns. Where I grew up, Biz used the example that he did not feel safe in a crime-ridden area. That's why he needed the gun. Most people is not running up on you, and most times, if they come to rob you, they don't come to kill you. That's the anomaly. They come to take it. Don't act funny. Let me have it, and you'll get home safe. I've been in those situations,
true, bro.
Okay,
Viz, I got one question for you.
Sit.
Viz, I just got one question for Viz.
Yes, sir.
How old were you when you got popped?
I was 21.
21.
Why'd you get popped?
Well, you got popped for the gun.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean arrested? That's how you say it down in Texas. When I say pop, you mean you got shot.
It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
got popped.
So,
Yeah, in
no,
Chicago,
before you go
yeah,
on that tangent, sweetie, when I was 14 years old, I went to Whitney Young, right? So I had to cross from go down home and cross across Douglas. We was in the middle of a war with breeds. Just by living in a specific area, when I went over there, it was cracking. Not because I was active. Nobody. It didn't matter if you was active or not. If you went over there and they seen you, you might get jumped on the bus and all those other things. These are
who is
real.
we? Who is we, bro? I'm just curious.
The area that I'm from.
I know. I'm just saying who is we. I'm just curious. You know.
So do you think it would have been? So do you think it'd be safe for 14-year-olds to walk around with guns?
But no, it's illegal for a 14-year-old to walk
I
around.
know, but he brought up.
Let me make my point. Let me make my point. My point was this: if you are following the law, then you do not have a weapon in an area where there's gun control to the max, right? The people who don't follow the law are the people who are going to shoot and attack you. You don't want to be caught in a position where people have the opportunity to see you as sweet. You know who don't get ran up on? Gun stores, gun shows, military. People don't go where they know it's a good chance that people will return fire.
Marcus, you lawfully carrying, right?
You say what?
You lawfully carrying, right?
That's
God damn it,
Why would you do that?
God damn it.
So here's the thing.
That's not the argument. That's not the argument.
Marcus, your story falls flat because you cut from a certain cloth. You knew you wasn't supposed to be going over there, yet you did.
I had to go to school.
You don't have a choice. You didn't have a choice.
Well, you know what you need to do? You got a choice. You do have a choice.
Move to another area.
Marcus, you ain't even got to answer a question. I already know. Don't even
move on. Look, guys, I'll wrap it up. Look, I believe you guys know I'm conservative. I believe in the 2A. I believe in the Second Amendment. I'm a military veteran. I have plenty of guns. None of them are for recreation. All of my weapons are for protection at the various homes that I have. And Kenny, guns are not demonic, bro. It's a tool, in my personal opinion. It's not. People are demonic. The guns are not. And I'm one of the guys that would rather have one, Kenny, and need it. And not need it than not have one and need it. Now, unfortunately, Kenny, where we are, man, in the time and history that we are in, America and guns is like beans and rice. And it's kind of like toothpaste that is already out the tube, man. It is not going back in the tube. As many guns and as much it is part of the fabric of our culture, it is not going backwards. So since that's where I live, and that is from the wild, wild west, and everybody walked into town and to the saloon with guns on their hips and all, and we went all the way from there to here, from the days of Smith and Wesson when they were alive till today, I would prefer to have a gun. Now, with that said, everything Sweeney said to me makes perfect sense. Regulation, you guys, is necessary. It's no different than alcohol not being served at a nightclub after a certain time. Yeah, it's a lot of people that's going to be responsible with their martinis and responsible with their cocktails and beers, but it's going to be some that just don't know when to stop drinking. So we have to put regulations on the club to say, hey man, listen, we got some idiots out here. Last call for alcohol is going to have to be around 1:00. Well, what about why should it be? We got a lot of responsible people at this nightclub. Yeah, but we're not worried about them. We worried about the idiots. So we putting the regulation on the club. That's common sense, and that's what we're just saying about guns.
So
it's no different than regulations on minors driving. Now, I believe since this is a country with a culture of guns, toothpaste that's out the tube that can't go back in, training and regulation is necessary. The example you guys used earlier where the guy or the girl was waiting on her alarm. So first of all, Illinois is the only state in the union that requires a FOID card. There is no other states. There's a few other, like New York has something that's similar, but a FOID card is only $10.
New Jersey.
Yeah, no.
I had to wait.
FOID card.
We couldn't.
Listen to me. Listen, just we're gonna wrap this up. There's cards similar to it, but the FOID card is for Illinois, and it's $10, and it takes 30 days to get. And sometimes a $10-day extension. Now, this is not for people with sketchy backgrounds and extra stuff.
Yeah, no. If you talking about
you be waiting months, you be waiting months for that, bro.
If a regular person, let me tell you something. If I move to Illinois, I would get my FOID card in 30 days.
You would.
So let me explain this to you. It does not have a restriction on. During the pandemic, they got sued behind this because it was such a backlog that they had to wait almost a year for people to in the worst time.
I understand. Worst potential. Listen to me. Listen, Marcus, I understand staffing issues. Let's not conflate staffing issues with bureaucracy. You know what I'm saying? If that's the case, then hell, how long does it take to get medication? Because staffing issues, because of what's happening. How long did it take to get people buried and put in the ground as a result of 2020 when everybody dying and the morgues were filled up? It's a lot of staffing issues, but I'm talking about the regulation, and the regulation for the regulation for firearms is needed. You can't just let it. We can't go back to the Wild Wild West. That is crazy to say that. Not to hold back the law-abiding citizens like me and every other brother on this panel, but for the people that will exploit that. It's not so much for us. Oh, but it's holding us back. Yeah, but it's not about us. It's about